Welcome to the January 2023 Las Vegas Real Estate Report and the 2022 Housing Recap. In this video, I am going to help give you some perspective on what happened in 2022, but we're also going to go back a little further and come through the pandemic and see where we ended 2022, plus what's going to happen to home prices in 2023, what's ahead for mortgage rates in 2023 from the experts, and buyer and seller opportunities in the market right now and maybe for the next few months, what we're seeing here locally in Las Vegas. My name is Jan O'Brien. I'm a team leader, business coach, and realtor for 30 years here in the Las Vegas market. I'm also licensed out in Florida. I am a co-team leader with Cosmo here, and we have an amazing group of professionals that are here to serve all areas of the Valley. Make sure you reach out to whoever might have sent you this video. All right, let's take a look. Here's the big news for December prices for 2022. We basically erased the gains that we got in all of 2022. We ended the year in December at $425,000 median sales price for single family homes, which is a 0% appreciation. That's exactly where we were a year ago in December of 2021. This really can give some perspective of where we moved up $10,000 in January of 2021. In quick recap, we peaked at May of 482, and then we started seeing the declines happen. This is because mortgage rates went up here. We'll go through all of this and give some perspective as we go through the slides here today. So we ended the year at 425. The other story is units available, single family homes that were available at the end of each of these reporting periods, the end of each of these months. So at the end of January, it was 1821. It was a little higher in December, like around 2,200, but 1821, we peaked right here in September with about 8121 homes on the market at the end of September. And we have steadily been seeing this go down each month. And actually each week, we chart these numbers weekly as well. Cash sales were 22.2% in December, and short sales and foreclosures were still way under 1%. It was 0.5 in November and about 0.7 of all sales in December. So what else happened? These graphs really kind of show as well. These are December numbers, but we can also track it from back in 2015 and see where the seasonality is. But if we look at 2022, we can see that the number of new listings, this is where we started to peak. As I was just saying, more listings came on the market. But look where we ended the year. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Not as many listings came onto the market as we were hoping. So, however, we also didn't. So therefore, we had this lower availability because even though some buyers have started to come back into the market, we really had this slow steadying of the number of closings. As you can see, the closings are always going to be about 60 days or so lagging from the time something goes under contract. And then you can kind of see where we went here for this year. This graph doesn't really show as much because it's showing from 2015. This is that steady appreciation. Here is the pandemic, right? It happens we're shut down in March of 2020 and then all through 2021. And we kind of peaked out here, as I just mentioned, in May of 2022, and we've seen this decline since. And now we're steadying out again. 2 months in a row we were at, or basically we ended the year at 425. It was actually down from November, but the same as it was the December before. So 425,000 was the median sales price. Let's take a quick look around the Valley where the numbers were at the end of the year. For December of 2022 for Summerlin, that was $645,000. That was just up slightly, median sales price year over year. However, the new listings and the units sold considerably down, just like the rest of the market. Over in Inspirada, down here in Henderson area, median sales price was $488. That's down 13% year over year. So were the units sold, 36% down in new listings. Silverado Ranch, we're kind of looking at this whole area here that's in this triangle between the 15, St. Rose Parkway, and the 215. 441,000 median sales price. Again, sold and new listings considerably down. And over in Pahrump, 350,000. That's actually just a slightly down year over year. but the units sold and the new listings also down, just as we were throughout the entire Las Vegas Valley. So let's give this a little perspective. So here is that chart of the beginning of January. There's that peak of 482. It started to come down a little bit. We saw the reaction of closed sales, because right here at the end of May and June is where interest rates went over 6%, peaked up close to 7%, and they're down now, hovering around the 6s. And then we saw it took a minute for all of this to show, literally a couple months for it to show up in the declining sales prices. So 465, 2 months of 450, 440, almost 431. And then we ended the year, as I've been saying, at 425, which is 0% year over year appreciation. But let's go back another year and take a look at that, or actually back from 2012. And let's just take a look at, put things into perspective as far as where sellers have gained equity in the last couple of years. Yes, you lost. If you're a homeowner in the Las Vegas area, you basically lost any gains that happened in 2022. But then again, if you didn't sell your home, then you really didn't get to realize those gains. But let's put it into perspective. So this chart shows how we've had this great appreciation, very normal and steady. And then we get down here, I'm going to go over here to this chart so we can put it into perspective. So 9.3% appreciation in 2020. That's, again, the beginning of the pandemic. So the average homeowner, the median gain for Las Vegas was $32,000. Now let's fast forward to 2021. It was massive. The median gain compared to the previous year was $80,000. So this is what everybody should be focused on if you're a homeowner, okay? Now this was if you were selling your home here. Yes, there wasn't a lot of inventory. That's why a lot of folks didn't have their homes on the market, because they felt like they had no place to go. And that, plus the incredibly low interest rates that we had, below 4, even below 3, with amazing buyer demand, is what caused this to happen. Now we fast forward to 2022. As I've told you, we peaked and now we're down. We basically erased the gains just for 2022. But the perspective I would like to have homeowners see is you still have this equity. Unless you've, of course, refinanced. You might have done that. Probably you did refinance. You might have cashed out. But all things equal, that's a considerable amount of equity to gain in a 2-year time period. All right, let's take a look at mortgage rates, because this is the driver of what has been keeping people off the sidelines. If you're a homeowner, obviously, many of you, or if you're listening, are thinking, why would I sell my home? Because I have 3.75% interest because I refinance, and I hear you. And that has created a little bit of why we don't have a lot of homes coming onto the market. But what we've also seen is, if we just look at this chart nationally, right? Here is where that peak happened. Again, I'm talking about the June timeframe, but look where the blue line is 30-year fixed. The green is the 30-year FHA rate. So I'll just look at the conventional fixed. So we had this high. This is where everybody sat on the sidelines and said, I'm going to wait and see. You know, we were hearing everything from, I'm going to wait for the interest rates to get down to 3% again. That is not happening anytime soon. Will we get down in the 5s again? Yes, that's what the experts are saying. More on that just a moment. But take a look here. We're down, and we've been fluctuating. The market is volatile because of inflation. Inflation and the market's response to mortgage-backed securities, what's happening economically, what's happening in the world. These are the things that impact our mortgage rates. And they're volatile right now because we're going through some volatile times. But if inflation continues to track down, we should see interest rates steady, which they are. They're staying around 6. They go a little bit below 6. They might, I think today, as I record this, they're at 6.2. But they're fluctuating up and down just a little bit each day. But here is the forecast for the major experts out there: Freddie, Fannie, Mortgage Bankers Association, and National Association of Realtors. And if we take the average of all 4 through the quarters, we're looking at 6.35 for quarter 1, and everyone is kind of seeing that by the end of the year, maybe we'll be in the high 5s, maybe 5 point something as opposed to 6. All right, so that's what this year looks like. So what's happening with home pricing for the year? What are the experts saying? Well, it varies. It depends on who the expert is, right? But all things considered, I believe it's going to be somewhere in between with this average. It's going to be flat. that's what we see here in Las Vegas. We think could fluctuate a little bit each month. It really depends on a couple things: supply and demand, which is going to be impacted by what happens with the mortgage rates. What we've been seeing in the past 3 to 4 weeks out here in the field is definitely an increase in buyer sales. That is, we're feeling that personally as our team, where we are seeing a continued lower amount of available inventory week after week. So that's going to set up a perfect storm of prices not continuing to decline. If demand increases and the inventory decreases, the prices are only going to go up again. Now, I really feel in the next few months, it's going to be pretty steady. It's going to fluctuate a little bit up and down, but we're at that stability point where interest rates and pricing is really stabilized a little bit until we have major things happen, more inventory come on the market, or the interest rates really come down. And I've just shown you, the experts are saying we're going to be staying about where we are, if not, just slightly down by the end of the year. That's what we're seeing. So where's Las Vegas going to be? Well, you guys subscribe to the channel, watch the monthly report that I put out here to stay on top of what has happened in the previous month. You can also follow us on our social media channels. I'll show you at the end. We do a weekly report. Cosmo does a weekly report on what is going on through our TikTok channel, as well as our Instagram reels and on YouTube as well. So we've got Realtor.com being, hey, nationally it's going to go up 5%. And then we have all the way down to Fannie Mae and Ivy Zellman's team saying it's going to be -5. So somewhere in the middle is probably where it's going to be. We have to track it every month. This is the forecast for December for what the experts feel is going to happen in 2023. So let's talk about opportunities in the market. So I just mentioned inventory increased and peaked in September, right? That is where I'm showing you here, 8121. So we started out just like we ended 2021. We started out 22 with not a lot of inventory. And then we had right here, the event May, June timeframe is where you can start to see. Right here in June is where you really can start to see the increase of inventory, May and June, because the interest rates peaked. That's where I just showed you on the chart, around 7%. So less people, everybody on the sidelines, going to pause and wait and see what happens, wait for prices to come down and wait to jump into the market, which I really believe is happening now. People are jumping back into the market. And again, as people jump back into the market, including investors, and you're thinking of buying, you're going to have more competition. Right now, you don't have a lot of competition as I record this in January, end of January 2023. Properties that are looking great, that are resale, that are priced right, are having multiple offers. But we're generally able to get buyers, negotiate really good deals for our buyers right now. We have been doing that for the past month and a half, 2 months, where we're able to get below market, below list price, get buyers, sellers to cover incentives, cover your closing costs, maybe buy your interest rate down. The big situation that we're seeing in our market that we think is going to last maybe for a few more months. It really depends on the builders building these spec homes. But if you're considering buying a new home in the Las Vegas Valley, I'm telling you right now, this is the time to jump in. There are just insane incentives that not all the builders, but many of the builders are offering, for which decrease sales prices. Here's an example of properties even being lower. This is higher end, but they have properties from the 400s all the way up to $1 million plus, but the prices are lower and they're offering incentives and special financing like 4.25%, buy downs, and more. Most recently, Cosmo and I have put folks into contracts where they have got significantly lower than the listed price with the builder and got all of their closing costs covered, as well as the ability to get their interest rate down. It's amazing. In 30 years, I've never seen these kind of opportunities with builders. Builders will always offer incentives if you use their mortgage company, but right now they have to be competitive and adjust to the market just like resale sellers do. So huge opportunities if you're considering buying in the resale market, but also for right now, definitely in the new home market. And we see this continuing for a few months. And then perhaps they'll take away some of these major incentives as they kind of get their inventory that they're building, their spec, their move-in ready homes sold. And trust me, in talking to the sales agents, we're out every single day, every sales agent we're talking about talking to in the last 2 weeks as I record this, end of January, has seen a huge traffic increase in their on-site places, and they are making sales, okay? Making sales faster than they were in the previous months. And if you're a seller, there's still an opportunity here. We don't think the prices are declining anymore. And as a matter of fact, if you've been listening to what I'm saying, if you're thinking putting your home on the market, reach out to us, anybody on our team, because I really feel with the prices sort of stabilizing, and if the conditions continue where there's not as much inventory, but there's more buyer demand, it's going to create a little more competition, right? So if you've been considering it, there's a couple opportunities. You have more. If you're thinking of selling and buying, there are opportunities to buy. You can put the buyer hat on and still negotiate. It's a very interesting time to sell and buy. Yes, you might not be able to get what you would have gotten 2 years ago, but hey, you didn't sell your house 2 years ago. You're selling it potentially now, and you didn't sell it 2 years ago because there was no inventory to move into. This is what we've heard from so many people. We get it. So now you're in this interesting space if you're thinking of selling, that you could probably get a good deal on the sale, whether it's a new home or a resale, and maybe buy that interest rate down. Bring it down to 4% or do a 2-1 buy down, and then wait to see what happens with the interest rates and refinance, okay? So if you want to hang into your house because you got a 2.75, then you know what? Don't sell your house right now. It's all good. Just talking to folks that are considering, is now a good time? And the answer is yes, it's a good time because of the things I'm talking to you about right here. So contact us, anybody on the team, for options, what we help you do to get the highest price possible for your home. Our approach is preparation, pricing, and promotion. We'll cover that with you in a one-on-one consultation. All right, that's it for the recap for 2022. Very excited about where things are heading in 2023. I think we're going to see some stability. We're going to have not a lot of fluctuations, it looks like. Until next month, make sure you subscribe to our channel here at YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok, Living Las Vegas and Henderson on Instagram. We're here for all your Las Vegas, Henderson, Pahrump, Boulder City needs. See you next month.